Today we're looking at a very interesting topic. Why most university relationships don't lead to marriage. If you go to a university campus, it will look like the university campus is for love and not for learning. Everywhere you see, you look at people walking together, holding hands, sitting together, in class, out of class, around the hostels, everywhere, cafeteria. You see a lot of coupling, a lot of people together. And you begin to think, is this place for learning or for love? That brings us to the first reason why most university relationship don't lead to marriage. You see, in campus, in university, college, whatever you call it, coupling is a culture. People move as if they were sent there in twos. Everybody wants to move in twos. When you are going alone, it's like you are lost, you are isolated. People move in twos, not necessarily because they are in love immediately. They could be classmates, they could be going to the library together, they could be going to eat together, they could be going to do assignment together, they could be going to get a note together, whatever it is. But there's a lot of coupling, there's a lot of people going together in campuses, and it's like a culture. It's expected. People want to see you with somebody. People want to see you. If you're a female, people expect to see you sometimes, not every time, with a man or a boy, not necessarily a boyfriend now. And then if you are a man, sometimes people see you with a girl. It's a culture. It's accepted. It's normalized in campus that people go like that. So a lot of times you see a lot of people tending to couple, and then from coupling they start to fall in love. Whichever one that happens first, there's a lot of love looming in the air. There's a lot of limerence, there's a lot of lust, because people are together in classes, in cafeteria, in canteen, and they're young people, and there's a lot of hormone that is walking and overworking. So a lot of things come together, happen so fast, immediately people arrive in campus. And that brings us to the next point. People come to the university campus and they are hungry for love. There's a lot of hunger for love. Actually, when people leave home, some people leave home going to the university expecting already to fall in love when they get to the university. So it's like a mindset. You're a fresh student, you're going to the university, you've heard stories about people falling in love in the university. So as you are packing your bag and packing your books, you're already packing your mind that I'm going to the university. When I get to the university, I'm going to fall in love, probably get married to the person I'm going to fall in love with. So there's a lot of hunger for love, even from home. Before they even get to college, people are already hungry for love. And it's two ways, but the intention is not the same. Some people want to fall in love because of companionship, because they want sex, because they want this or that. And some people are really eager to fall in love because they are thinking, as I go to university, as I get to the campus, I'm going to fall in love with a man and most likely get married to the man. And that's what we are trying to unpack. Yes, that brings us to the next point, which is a mismatch of maturity. And let me explain what I mean. When people go into the university and they go into a relationship, a man and a woman, let me use the word a boy and a girl, there's a mismatch because when the girl is on vacation, for instance, from college, you're going to see people asking her, when are you getting married? Now that you're in the university, you are grown, and so the next thing that everybody's expecting is, when are you getting married? Some people will even ask you, are you dating? Are you seeing any man? Most men don't get those questions from their parents or from their relatives. You don't see a lot of people, maybe 21, 20 or 19, and they are boys, and people are asking them, when are you bringing somebody home? When are we seeing anybody seriously? If they ask them, it's just a joke. But the person who is asking a woman who is probably 18, 19, 20, 21, they are not joking, they mean it. It could be parents sometimes, it could be an aunt, it could be an uncle, it could be a close person in church or around the house, and it begins to register even in the mind of the woman that, look, there's an expectation of marriage. And what does that do? The woman starts to think that this thing they are doing in college is a very serious thing that's going to lead to marriage. They start to take it very serious. They start to invest more time, invest more of themselves emotionally, sometimes sexually, because they think it's going somewhere. After all, that's what everybody's asking. Everybody's asking me, when are you bringing a man? When are we seeing somebody? When are we drinking? Blah, blah, blah. When are we da, 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 da. So they take it serious. And that pressure is not on the man. This pressure is only on the woman. So the man is thinking, we're just having fun in the university. We're going around, people know us together, and all that and all that. And because of this, there's a mismatch, emotionally mismatch, marriage-mindedness, marriage energy, there's a mismatch. Even when couples, young people are really in love, really serious-minded, and they are focused, and they've looked at themselves, and they can actually get married, everything is going well, we still have a question to settle, and that question is, who pays for the marriage? Let's be very clear on this. Marriage comes with a cost. You don't just get married in Mr. Biggs. You can date in Mr. Biggs, you can date in any restaurant, but you don't get married in those restaurants. You have to get married in a house, in a real house, where somebody pays a real rent, and somebody pays for the light, electricity, and somebody pays for water, and somebody pays for food. I'm sure people still eat. Somebody pays for food, and somebody pays for a lot of other utilities that goes with owning a house. So for you to actually get married in the real sense of the word, there has to be a house that somebody pays for. So when the people who are students about to graduate are serious about getting married, they have to deal with this question of, yes, we want to get married. I really want to marry you, and you really want to marry me, but where are we going to live? Who's going to pay for the house? We can't get married in your father's apartment or in your mother's house. So that question is always there. Who's going to pay for the marriage? If there's going to be a wedding ceremony, who pays for it? Even if it's a very small, micro, low budget, very small actually. Maybe you invite 5 people plus the pastor. Somebody has to pay for this or that. Maybe you don't give them any refreshment. Maybe just Coca-Cola. Somebody has to pay for it. So the question is always there. Who pays? Who pays? And that question makes people put off the plan of getting married, because nobody can answer that question. The only thing that can answer that question is a salary, is money. If you're not earning money, you cannot answer the question of who pays until you start to earn money. That brings us to the next point. Finally, graduation hits. Yes, you heard me well. Graduation happened, and graduation ends the dream. What do I mean by that? You know, you're already like in your final year. You've been seeing yourself for 1, 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years, as the case may be. And then finally graduation hits, and then you leave the school. And maybe sometimes somebody has some spillover or some carryover, some things to finish, and you are worrying for the next 6 months, sometimes 12 months, how to clear your spillover, how to clear your whatever it is called in your college, and you are concentrating on that, and the other person has gone. Even if you live in the same city, you are not going to be seeing yourselves as often. Of course, you'll talk on the phone for the first 6 months, talk on the phone every day, and all that, but you won't be seeing yourself every day. And what that means is that, you know, when you are out of sight, you're going to be out of mind. So graduation is the great separator. Graduation separates you. You go home, he goes home. You probably meet other people, he probably meets other people. Other things become priority instead of this your relationship. Not necessarily other relationships, other things. You know, the process of trying to survive day-to-day life, adjusting to you are no longer a student, adjusting to you are no longer going to be getting support, getting money from your parents. Sometimes you don't even have certain things you used to take for granted. So you are adjusting to, I am no longer a student. People are now expecting you to get a job, probably help to support your younger ones. So the pressure of getting a job, maybe supporting your parents, maybe supporting your younger ones, you know, this reality we hate. It's no longer the romance of being a student or being in school. So graduation happens. It separates you from whoever you are seeing. You are now in different cities, facing different things together, different pressures. So by the end of the day, you might even forget about each other. That brings us to the next point, which is exceptions exist. And I want to explain what I mean by exceptions exist. You know, there are people who are in college or university, you know, whatever you call it, where you live. There are people who meet, graduate, 1 year off, get married. Some people even get married while they are still in the university. I've seen it happen. I'm sure you've seen it too. People get married while they are still students. But these are exceptions. I want to be clear, you know, these exceptions actually exist. So we're not saying nobody who meets in university gets married. No, we're not saying that. A lot of people actually do. A lot of people actually do. But they are the exception. They are the 10%. And we're talking about the 90%. We're not looking at the 10%. We're looking at the 90%. That's the majority. Majority of people who meet in universities, date in universities, actually don't get married. And these are the ones that actually continue until the final years. A lot of university relationships last 1 year. So you see somebody who is in university for 5 years, almost every year is dating or seeing a different person in each of those years, or at least two, 3 people in 5 years. But we know that the exceptions, like they continue to date, they graduate, they get married. And most of these exceptions are also for people who date people who are not students. You are a student, you are in the university, you are dating or having a relationship with somebody who's already working, who is in his 30s, thereabout, who's worked for 10 years. So immediately you graduate, or even while you are still a student, you get married. And that brings us to this point. The Bible book says it's time for everything. And that means there's time for love, there's time for learning, there's time for relationship, dating, getting married. I'm not discouraging people from dating, sensing that's what they do. But you see, we need to understand that when you are in the university, it's actually time for you to bag your first degree, get a first degree. If you're not getting a first degree and you are dating, you need to be very careful, because instead of being a time for marriage, it could be a time for baggage, emotional baggage, sexual baggage. So you need to actually be very careful if you are dating in the university, to be sure that you are not bagging emotional baggage. You are bagging the best degree that you can get. I'm going to say that again. There are some relationships that lead to marriage. I don't want to say it's the 1%, which is most likely what it is. Let me call it 10%. 90% is still a large majority. 90% of the relationship that we see in the university will not, I say it again, will not lead to marriage. And that is why this video is a guide. It's to help, it's to teach, it's not to shame, it's to shield you from error, it's to shield you from regret, it's to help you make better decisions. That while you are in the university, the best thing to do is to concentrate and bag the best degree that is possible. If this video has spoken to you, I want you to share it with somebody you know that it will speak, and subscribe for more. If you are new to the channel, my name is Forward, JP Forward.